how the UN owes Haiti billions for the cholera that they were defecating in their drinking water and gave them cholera, and they owe them big money. We never hear about these things. We never hear about the illegal mining. And the people are practicing in their front yards, and the mines are caving in on them in Africa, and all kinds of different. The preachers over there shaving women's vaginas during a Sunday service, and they're praising it. People in the congregation, can't wait to get theirs shaved. The women, it's craziness. Why aren't they talking about that? Why are they over here in our Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor?
Yes. Well, yeah, Ricardo, yes, it's Brother Reggie. So, okay. In the United States, there's freedom of speech, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, individuals have freedom of speech, and corporations too. Those are the kind of super people, corporations. Okay. The problem would be if there was a organization or a lobbyist group that was preventing or talking bad about us. But in the United States, there's things called the discrimination laws. There's city, county, state, federal discrimination laws. So if that speech moved past to harming us rather than just speech, hyperbole, right? Then there would be reasons for concern. You could find people talking about us, but in the history of the United States, you can find issues of Irish and Jewish and Italians and other immigrant groups that came here with things to say. It's when they form a lobby group, right, an organization, that I think that there would be, and they interfere in progress, that would be a problem. For us to not look what we have in the United States as far as the little fragile unity that we have, and to do infighting when these other groups of people come in who are European and Asian and other groups, it would be problematic. It would be more problematic. Like the Asian groups fought against affirmative action, right? They like with the Harvard case, right? And affirmative action was overturned because they felt that there was selective emissions to Black Americans. Those type of things are really problematic, more detrimental than individuals running their mouth about issues. So Unbiased told me not to talk about reparations, which is hard to do, is because FBA was formed because of reparations. So then I have to go to the point, if that's his barrier for me, then I have to say that well, these individuals, they don't move the needle when it comes to Black progress in the United States. They don't. But we could pay attention to it. I don't have a problem paying attention to it. And I don't have a problem with Tariq Nasheed singling it out. But at the same breath, since he's the spokesperson, he needs to make analysis of these other groups of people who have organized themselves into groups and now are lobbyists, and they're rolling back things like affirmative action and gain any support gains of civil rights, right? That's more detrimental because they're trying to roll back civil rights. So you've seen the attack on the DEI, right? So those groups, I think that if FBA was focused, they would engage those groups on those issues. And this is not talking about reparations. So what do you have to say about that? What I just said. And I'll summarize it. Individuals don't move the needle.
Right.
Attacking Black people based on what they say when everybody has freedom of speech. And the fact of the matter is, again, people don't move the needle, organizations do, and we do have a threat. We have a threat of all these Ukrainians, Slavs, all these other groups coming, and then we have the migrant groups coming, eating our food, and we want to pay attention to uh, a few migrants, immigrants that you call. Um, and the other problem is that it was Black people, Booker T. Washington, that asked for them to come and defeated the African exclusion measure, right? And so that culminated into a combined movement of largely Black Americans and some Caribbeans in the Garvey movement, where no matter if you think Garvey is a scammer or not, the fact of the matter is that um, we had enormous business boost of businesses uh, during the Garvey movement. We was moving to self-reliance, and both groups were. So my question to you is the infighting really relevant to the big picture?
Right. Wait, hold on. Let me take that one right there. You could go back.
Uh,
Because I caught a couple of things you said. I paid attention to words. First of all, he called what we're saying attacking, but he called what they're saying freedom of speech. Dude, stop. So again, you're trying to phrase what we're doing. We're talking too. We're using freedom of speech too.
Correct.
But you're saying,
and I said that.
No, but you call it attacking, and you said what they only have is freedom of speech. Bro, they're coming over here saying ill things about FBAs for no reasons, unwarranted. They don't even know it, and you call that freedom of speech. And when we respond to that, I mean, you sound like a white supremacist, right? They come start the trouble.
You say I sound like a what?
White supremacist, because they come and start the trouble.
I'm not a white supremacist.
That's how you sound like that because the argument you made.
No.
Okay, look.
Because I said that we should.
We attack, and you said we attack, and they have a freedom of right to speak. So do we.
We have a freedom of speech. They have a freedom of speech.
Right. So why is our freedom of speech called attacking?
No, our freedom of speech is not less. We have more of a population.
But why is it called attacking when we're responding?
Well, here's the thing. What you're deleting is the attacks that our people do who are not well educated.
But that's secondhand though. Let's talk about the people who are.
No, that you can't discredit. You can't there's no way that you can discredit what I'm saying. I'm saying people. Unbiased sports. I'm saying people can say anything. It don't move the needle.
Okay, fine. But words hurt, and words. Wait, hold on.
Okay, well, your words can hurt on both sides.
Right. Okay, I got it. Right. But hold on.
It don't move the needle.
I know. No, it does something far more treacherous. For example, there's a reason why there's a such thing called anti-Semitism, because words hurt and words can culminate to something more devious, like a Holocaust. There's a reason why there's something called anti-Asian hate, because words could manifest themselves to attack Asians only. And there's a reason why there's something called racism, because words towards African Americans can translate to burning crosses on your front lawn and bombing up schools. So yeah, it starts with words and then actions normally follow. The KKK start off with words, and then all of a sudden they became the worst domestic terrorists in the country. So yeah, so now there's something called stopping it before it starts. So we have these anti-Semitism things there to stop it, to discourage it from happening. So when they come over here with their discrimination, because they have these preconceived notions about us. Here's the difference, Brother Reggie. They come here with a thought about us that we don't have about them. They believe we're lazy. They believe we're gangsters out their own mouth. we're complainers because they
Those
don't.
are words. Those are the
Yeah, but hold on, but
they
no,
don't move the needle.
yeah,
Give me
yes, it does.
organ.
Yes, it. But
Give me
speak for
give
yourself.
me an
But it's my goal.
organization.
It's my goal. It's my goal. It's my goal. So now, for me, those words matter. They do move the needle because they move into our communities with those words, and we work with them, and they become our bosses, employer, or the banker. Yeah. So and yeah, those words matter when we're not getting that loan, when we're not getting that job, when they're the police officer, and we're getting that ticket. Yeah. So those words manifest as something ugly. So we're responding to stop, to discourage that. Hey, if you do that, okay, fine, good luck, because we're gonna delineate, and you hold your own nuts when something happens to y'all from these white supremacists. You'll be marching by yourself. You ain't gonna have this big, massive march to get justice. It be you and 6 other niggas with flip flops trying to get justice.
Okay, well,
Can I say something, Reggie? Can I say something real quick, Reggie?
okay.
We got to remember that, this is another thing that I've been saying too, is that the civil rights that we fought for has been taken over. At first it was, they gave it to the white woman. And then it seems like every other movement that comes along, they put those people in front of us like they did the white woman, and we get pushed further to the back of the line, receiving none of the benefits of the things that we and our ancestors fought for to get to this point. So that has to be understood first and foremost. And all these people that are coming over here are not ruled by America. They are ruled by different countries. So if you're talking about reparations, why are you in our conversation? Why aren't you talking to the Queen of England? Or what is it, the Balfour Declaration? I know you know this, Reggie. They split up Africa. Was that them, or am I saying the wrong one, brother?
What did the Balfour?
You mean the Berlin conference?
Yeah. Okay. So
there you go, Haskell. What's up, Haskell? There you go. Yeah. See, like that. See, they're defeated. Those countries are defeated. Jamaica is defeated. We're still throwing punches. We're still fighting the good fight, but get pushed to the back of the line for the civil rights that we fought and died for.
Okay, so
our ancestors and us.
Okay, so let me just add. Okay, so there is a real enemy, and the real enemy is disorganization of Black people in America, right? For the best interest of all of our people that are here. I don't
mean to cut you off, but let me say this real quick. The real enemy is the one who has no accountability. We don't hold them accountable. Like you said, the corporations, like the Virginia Company, like the West Indian Company, like the Catholic Church, all of these things that put us into this position, into slavery.
Okay,
the origins of this scientific racism and all this.
Reclaim my time.
From the Latins, from the Latins, because they are Latins. That's Latino. Their language is Latin. All of that.
Can I reclaim my time?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So the real enemy to our people is disorganization. I do not think, and I do not agree that Black Americans should not delineate themselves in certain circumstances, but in the circumstances that you have just mentioned, it is the courts, right? It is the courts, the Supreme Court and the local courts, right, which are the real enemies, because they are creating ghost cases to roll back civil rights. On our side, it takes organization, funding, right? The average federal case costs $100,000. The average federal case costs $100,000. A case supporting these big things requires really $50 million, $100 million to fight cases. We have to organize to point out matters that we are suffering from. And then we have to deal with it in federal court. The real enemy, again, is our disorganization. The second, and that's not the second, the first enemy is the oppressor. The second enemy is uh, our lack of organization, right? So it's the oppressor, and then it's a lack of organization and being able to see the big picture. So I'm not a lawyer, but I did a federal case myself, and I've helped my former wife in two EEOC cases, and she was able to settle in the EEOC office and not have a case, but settle with the company. Um, I know federal law pretty well. But I do think is that our community needs an education and seeing the big picture instead of fighting ghost wars amongst ourselves. Because again, Booker T. Washington, in his foresight, saw the depleting populations of Black people and said, and we need help, and so asked for the African exclusion measure to be defeated, and it was defeated, and so my whole thing is trying to find out who the real enemies are. So tomorrow I'll do I will examine uh, in the matter of the reparations of African Americans case from Pelman Farmer, which was our last big reparation case that we lost. I will tell you why we lost it. And there are two reparation cases going on right now. There's the Tulsa reparations case, and then the Malcolm X reparations case. In those two matters, those are federal cases. Those are the only two federal cases that we have on board. So there, HR 40 has not been renewed, right? So the question is why fight ghost wars when we can fight the bigger picture, right? So if in fact our civil rights are being uh, threatened, right? Then we need to organize against the oppressor that's rolling back all of our rights. That's the big picture because that impacts uh, companies and people discriminating against us, right? And slow justice against our people. Those we need to fight what's happening with these police officers that have immunity, right? We need to know how to defeat those matters because those are the things that threaten us day to day. Police abuse, right? And we need to focus on what's happening in certain cities and counties that are largely white as they discriminate against us, right? And they create the situation where we're disempowered. And we have to fight against the Democratic Party that allow these migrants to come in. They're not our friends. They allowed these migrants to come in because their whole point was to get these migrants in because they thought these migrants would be more likely ultimately to vote Democrat, right? And they were trying to allow migrants to vote in local elections, and that was carteled, right? Not by us, but so my point is there are ghost fights, and then there is the real.
Yeah, finish your point. You can let Haskell go. Go ahead, Reggie. Finish your point up so Haskell.
No, that's I finished because I don't I was asking the brother to talk about that, but I will finish for Haskell. 45.
Hey man, how y'all doing, man?
What's up?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
What's up, Haskell? What's going on? Happy New Year,
Yeah,
bro.
man, what the hell is going on, bro? Dog, I couldn't believe, bro, when my goddamn algorithm showed me a channel named FBA United, and I clicked on the channel, and it's none other than Unbiased. FBA out, bro. What is going
Yes,
on, bro?
sir.
What universe am I in? Like, I don't know what, bruh. All right. What's crazy? You know what's crazy, IBM? I'm
What's up?
hearing things that 4 years ago, 3 years ago, Unbiased used to berate people like you who would bring up Jim Crow, sharecropping, redlining, convict leasing, and all of this shit. You know what Unbiased called that stuff 4 years ago, 3 years ago? What did he call it? IBM. What did he call it?
I
Excuses.
can't. Oh, okay. Okay.
Excuses. So
It's an
just
excuse. If you rob an old lady today and say, "Hey, Jim Crow," that's an excuse. But Jim Crow, during Jim Crow, like being targeted, that's not an excuse. Well, my thing was, you got to be held accountable for your actions. Everybody needs to be held accountable for their actions, right? So there's never just a real justification to really do a crime. You can't really justify that. And if you get caught, you got to hold the L.
yeah, not a justification for a crime, mind you. But listen, I like what Reggie said about these ghost wars because ultimately all roads lead back to white supremacy, right?
Racism is white supremacy. Like I've taught for
Yeah.
years, racism is white supremacy.
But
Period.
that's what I'm saying, IBM. All roads lead back, and like Neely Fuller always says, if you don't truly understand white supremacy, you won't understand anything. Everything will confound you. So for me, these diaspora wars or what you want to call them, like I'm a Jamaican tether, proudly, right?
What's a tether?
Listen, I don't fucking know what that shit is.
Hey,
And
see,
I don't care,
hey, bro.
right? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna give you a definition. It's something that a snake oil selling, rabble rousing charlatan
Nah,
has recently conjured up
of
as
course.
his
Everything.
new as his new niche industry, right? It's something that he co-opted from real activists, and I can't believe I'm agreeing with fucking Chief X of all goddamn people. Chief
Lord, Lord,
X.
Lord.
Can you
Well,
imagine that? Listen, you know the world is upside down. You know the world is upside down when you're
Yes.
agreeing with Chief X. Chief X said Tariq Nasheed usurped and co-opted Event and Tone's movement, right? For what it's worth, Tone is a licensed professional. Event worked on Capitol Hill. When they established ADOS, right, they were clear about their objectives. They said this is an advocacy organization, and what we're working towards mainly is reparations, and not just reparations that are restorative and that basically sets the Black American population back on an even footing, right? Because they've been basically had your development retarded and stagnated by policies such as Jim Crow, slavery, convict leasing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And they had economists like Sandy Darity draft up actual plans, and right, these are for better or for worse. I can say, looking at them, they are serious people, right? And I would listen to Tone Talks, right? And he said we need to disaggregate. And I fully agree with them as a Jamaican because divisions are necessary for order. There's a reason why you have in Europe, everybody isn't European, right? You have Estonia, you have Albania, you have Germany, you have France, whatever. Having ethnic divisions and is necessary for order. So I was in full support of that, right? Now, they made an error, in my opinion, when they focus on the trivial matter of people like my aunts and stuff talking shit, acting like they're better than Black Americans. You know why they talk like that? And these are my family members. You know why they talk like that, Unbiased?
What?
They
Don't say.
talk like that for the same reason why certain Black people here talk with this sense of superiority. It's because
Wait,
they're
superiority
ignorant.
to who? That's a lie. Superiority.
It's
What's his?
because they're ignorant.
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
in
But
video.
what
Listen,
superiority talk that we have? That's what I'm saying.
what all your homeboy talks about these days is hairlines. You have superior
No, but
hairlines.
that's after the fact, though. No, that's okay. So again, you see, and
Hold
this is
on,
what Brother Reggie does.
I'm not done. I'm not done, Elbias.
Okay,
Give me a
go
second.
ahead.
Right? So according to Tyreek, you guys have, among other things, superior hairlines, a superior sense of fashion, superior in cuisine, superior musically, superior fashion-wise, superior in industry, superior morally, superior in all ways, right? But again, again, I'm gonna say it again. I hear my people talk that stupid shit all the time too. And they're equally as regressive and as stupid as the niggas who talk that shit here. Because ultimately, it's a handicapped nigga fighting a blind nigga. Right? Because Tone pointed it out. White American wealth in America, I forgot it. Well, back then he was saying it was like 115 trillion. I think right now it's probably up to like 130 trillion. And he said Black American wealth was like somewhere from 3 to 6 trillion, with 40% of that being in like pensions and mostly held by boomers, and virtually none of it liquid. Like the middle American family is worth like $0. That's the middle American family, right? Me coming from a place like Jamaica, having 2 pair of shoes and shit, right? Coming here talking like I'm superior to some Black Americans because I feel like we work harder or whatever's dumb shit. That shit is stupid. But the counter to that is for you to go down into the mud with those people and claim some superiority because you have air condition and and Jordan 1s. No, you don't follow they stupid ass. The dumb motherfuckers from Jamaica and the stupid motherfuckers from Africa talking that stupid shit. You don't follow them and fight fire with fire. No. And Yvette and Tone, they made that mistake, right? But they tried to reverse course. But what happened is Tariq seized on the most trivial parts of their movement and magnified that shit. He turned the ethnophobia and the ethnocentrism, he turned that shit up times 100. He started talking about hairlines, people eating bush meat, right? People being funky, not wearing. All of that shit is stupid shit. That's childish. You can't tell me that you are serious about Black empowerment and you're talking about the government, the government. No, you're a comedian. You're a comedian. I can't believe y'all are following behind this nigga.
Well, that's the thing. See, where you confuse it. We're not following by anybody. Like, we're our own people. My voice is just as great as Tariq Nasheed said. Matter of fact, a lot of people that come over here, that's FBA, a lot of them don't even follow him like that. So, but that's the mistake you and Brother Reggie keep making because y'all not in tune in what's going on within FBA. Y'all just look at us and judge us for 2-3, like you're saying we do, and then cast that net over all of us. Now, let me backtrack for a second. No, we're not the same as your family and the Africans. They claim, okay, even Stu Peter Hassan claim, it's like contradictory where it's coming from. They claim the hatred and the stereotypes for us comes from two sources. One, their mother, not their aunt, like you said, their mother, and the other one is from movies, which is two stupid ass lies. So I said this to Hassan and Stu Peter. I said, so the movies you watch is just Boys in the Hood, like the movies that come to your country, they're just Boys in the Hood, Minister Society, Belly. Like y'all don't get.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Because look, just I'm gonna finish up because we can just find this shit out. It's not hard. So you trying to tell me that y'all don't get any Denzel movies, no Wesley Snipes movies, Blade, where he's a badass, no Rising Sun. Y'all just get killer movies funneled to y'all, but y'all don't have access to the clumps, Coming to America, Distinguished Gentlemen. Y'all don't have Bad Boys, anything to do with Martin Lawrence. Y'all, Big Mama. Y'all just get the worst movies possible for us. Now, you're saying that. They didn't say that, by the way. You're the only one saying that. Everybody else said that they get everything else. They just said, and a matter of fact, a guy I don't even know who's in Nigeria, he said, hey, I could play it right now. He said, hey, I like to watch the badass movies, from Black Americans. So you guys get all the movies. Nobody's smuggling just the worst. Hey guys, look at this great. Watch this movie. You guys are getting all the movies. You're choosing to just stereotype us based off the worst ones. But we have movies that depict us. Like you got Hancock. Y'all watched that. That's a big market. So big blockbuster. It didn't go crazy, but it was there in the big screen. So y'all are coming across the matter of fact. We googled it. We googled the 100 most popular movies today, and 50% was negative, 50% was good. So, so you're watching both sides, but y'all are basing your assumption on one side. It's just like, why are y'all ignoring the good side? Then like the comedy films with the Wayans brothers and whoever else, like Eddie Murphy and whoever, 48 Hours, Eddie Murphy, so many, Vampire in Brooklyn, so many movies he did. And then you got Robert Townsend. None of his movies are negative. You got Spike Lee, none of them negative. Like you got movies where black guys don't do nothing negative, all positive lights for black folks. And somehow Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blue, somehow these things don't end up in Jamaica. But watch this. And on the flip of the coin, every movie now this is true for us. Bro, the only movie I ever watched with Jamaicans that was positive was bobsledding or Cool Running. That's it. Every movie I watched from that show, there's none on Haitians, by the way. But the only movies I ever watched from Jamaicans was Rude Boy, Belly, Shotters, all gangster shit. And I never said, I thought y'all was a little crazy, but I never said like some weird thought like, yo, they're all lazy and drug dealers. No, I said, no, don't fuck with them. They crazy. But it was never like he's a drug dealer, he's a gangster. It's just like, don't fuck with him. Like, don't pick with him because they might turn up on you. So that's how I grew up because of the movies. But I didn't tell my boy or my mom ain't telling me, yo, those Jamaicans, stay away from them. They're bad man. They'll cut your head off. They know voodoo. Like none of that shit was ever cast to me. I could speak for I could speak for IBM. I know, and brother, I know they never was taught that shit. But in reverse, you guys are saying your parents taught you this shit. The kids are confessing, saying our parents taught us this shit. And then other guys saying movies. So it's like, which one is it? It's still immature as fuck. It's like, you don't, so wait. So secondly, if it is the movies, so y'all don't know a movie from reality? Y'all don't know these are actors? You know they ain't real blood, right? You know he ain't dead. Because he's in this movie over here. The niggas in Training Day dead, but he's also in Time Cop, whatever the fuck he in. So you know he ain't dead. So the shit ain't real. So it's goofy. Now, let me go attack Bro.Reggie shit, Brother Reggie. Then I'll let somebody go. Brother Reggie. Like y'all gotta stop minimizing what the diaspora does and the continent. Y'all gotta stop minimizing for this bullshit peace, global unity bullshit. Y'all are willing to minimize what they're doing with their bad contributions, but then y'all maximize our reaction to that. Okay, y'all maximize our reaction, y'all minimize their offense. They're coming to our neighborhoods, not everybody, but definitely the Africans. They're coming over here delineating for sure. Ain't none of y'all Black Americans ever in high school went to an African party. at his home with some shit going on. Never. You were never invited to this shit. And even in society, there's stores, there are gas stations. Ain't no brotherly shit there. It's straight business. Head up and buy type shit. So this we are the world type shit, that's not real. Like, people are coming here feeling a certain way, and we are feeling that when we interact with them. And then we see it on YouTube, and oh, that's how you feel. Like, wow. Then you see it again. And by the way, the diaspora war is something they call Haskell. It's not an FBA term. That's what they called it. Diaspora wars, like the Caribbean or Jamaica or Africa. They call that shit. And then, you know, they talk, and then watch this. So Stu came on here, and this is a talking point that people do. Oh, the Nigerians are so smart. Stop fucking lying. 40% of them make $1.90 a day. Like, stop. And that country is fucked up. They depend on oil alone. They got no real import export. That country is a shithole. So when people be capping like they're so innovative, no. You got the other Nigerians get in there. You got other Nigerians undermining the country, stealing 108,000 fucking pounds of oil a day because they're so dumb. They made the only commodity oil. So you ain't making no money if you ain't got oil. So now everybody's stealing the oil because the people who run the country only hire their families. They don't hire the correct people who can help guide and run the country successfully. They only hire their family on some bullshit. So the peasants, the people who the lack thereof, they're out there stealing the oil and making undercut deals with the foreign nations. So that country gonna never get right. But they come over here act like they so great. You said, no, you fucked up. That's why you over here. Like, stop.
Hey, let me show you something.
Hold on, Haskell. Let me say this real quick. You know, it's called state capture. You know, the politicians sell out the their areas that they're the leaders of, and you know the resources don't go to where they're supposed to go, or the money doesn't go where it's supposed to go. It gets cut off and pocketed along the way, and then by the time it reaches the people that it was supposed to help, you know, it's little to nothing, and that's what's going on with them. You know, and I understand what, you know, Haskell's saying, but when you talk about the divisions, brother, you said the divisions are good. Well, I don't know if you remember, but I've said this to you numerous times. Division is an age-old weapon used, just like the lines on the map.
I said it's necessary.
Just hold up, just like the lines on the map. Let me talk. And you know, just like I said, you know, when you're coming into somebody's house, you wipe your feet, you know, you show respect. You don't come as an immigrant, and I'm going to say this because I know this to be true. Like a lot of people around the world will say that the Jamaicans do. They come in with you know, you owe me something mentality instead of an appreciative mentality. They're arrogant. Even the people around the islands will tell you that Jamaicans are very arrogant, you know. And like I said, I love them to death. I grew up with a Jamaican camp right here in a little town in Virginia where they was apple pickers, and they were here every summer. So we dealt with them. You know, they'd go to the Dollar General, you know, and go to the camps, you know, and then we, you know, communicate with them through town. You know, some of them would even stay. Some of them would even get married to the ladies, you know. So it's not like I wasn't familiar with, you know, Jamaicans and their culture. But, you know, not until more recently did I see that, you know, this arrogance of, you know, trying to tell people how to live when, you know, like I said, you have plenty of problems in your country. The Queen of England over there crying for the Queen of England when she died. You know, those are the people who y'all need to be going at and upset with, because like I said, these people here in America, we have our own set of problems. We never got reparations. Nowhere around, everybody else did around the world, you know, and then, you know, the U.S. is paying billions, you know, overseas to Israel and now Ukraine. They've been doing it for Israel, but now Ukraine, you know, and like I said, all these fights, we're debt slaves around the world, all of us, okay? And you know that. And you know, credit is debt, regardless of what you want to call it and how you want to paint it. So, like I said, we do have the same issues, but when it comes to America, this is our fight. We know what happened. Our people went through this. And, it's not for somebody to come over here and try to be a leader when, like I said, you don't even know the full scale. That's like Stu P saying, oh, well, abortion was good for black Americans in the 80s and 90s because it brought the crime rate down.
The what
I'm
was
like, come on, Stu. That's what Stu P said.
What he said?
He said that abortion was good for the black Americans in the 80s and 90s because it brought the crime rate down and all these, saying, I can't even speak for him what he meant. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said.
He couldn't have said.
No, he said he definitely said it.
Is, who is the real?
He definitely said it.
Who's the real enemy? Who's the real enemy? So the problem is black Americans from the ending of slavery did not get our fair share, right? Is because of the oppressor. The oppressor is pulling the strings. Everybody else is just reacting to the oppressor. And my whole thing is, why spend time in fighting when let me explain. Can I just say this? I want to say this and I'll stop. Do you know the last reparations case, the Pelman farmer, the Deirdre Pelman farmer, in the matter of reparations for African American descendants? Do you know that in law right now, they have said that Black Americans, right, cannot represent their ancestors. They put a legal barrier saying that if you don't have rights to their estates, right, and their probate for the ancestors that you are claiming were disenfranchised, you can't bring that in court. See, people don't understand that. So they made a new matter that the people that you think that you want to represent, which is your own family, unless you have rights to their estate, you can't advocate for them, right? So these are things, so I know who the real oppressor is. These people coming in who are ignorant, right? Talking about us, that don't move the needle.
That shit don't move the needle at all. Oh my God, Reggie, bruh.
But that's that's like Jim Crow, Reggie. That's like Jim Crow. The blacks. Wait a minute. After Reconstruction, wait a minute. Hold on, Haskell. After Reconstruction, the blacks couldn't, be considered citizens unless they owned a home. So that's one of the reasons why they created that sharecropping and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they could be put in jail for not having. That's right along the same lines. Am I wrong, Reggie? Ain't that the same thing?
No, absolutely right. And what they have done is now they come back and say those properties that your family owned, your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather that was put in sharecropping. And for me, my father was a sharecropper, and both my grandparents on his side were sharecroppers. I can't advocate for him. I can't claim that. And so when I see something like that, I say, okay, I know who the real enemy is. And
that's right.
This whole thing about fighting people who don't move the needle because they said something is a distraction that Europeans create when they're controlling all
the strings.
Franchise.
Beautifully said, Reggie. Beautifully said. So I can, even if like I said, I have family members who talk that stupid shit. Because human beings in general tend to be cliquish and tribalistic anyway. And human beings, their base instinct is to try to find something to make themselves feel like they're better than the next human. That's human instincts. That's like our base natures, right? When I come online, when I listen to people like a Tariq Nasheed or an Yvette Carnell or even an Unbiased Sports, anybody who makes content or who puts themselves out there and talks about these issues, I look at people like that and hold them to a much higher standard of understanding, right? I expect those people to have a kind of a sort of supervision and a more panoramic view of exactly what's going on. And Reggie so succinctly and so perfectly stated exactly what's going on. For all like those three women that Unbiased showed, the one chick with her hair falling off her head, talking about, oh, I don't even know why black Americans should be at carnival. Man, that bitch don't that shit I don't, I don't want to call her a B word, but that shit don't add up to a hill of beans. Like Reggie said, it does not move the needle. And what
Especially with all
Tariq,
the especially with all the wicked shit that goes on at Carnival, though. You gotta say that too.
you know what that chick is doing, Unbiased? After she turned off her phone talking that shit, she's going to her little nursing job, working a 12-hour shift to go home to her apartment where she's barely able to keep up with the bills, living check to check. She's just some chick on the internet talking shit. It don't mean nothing, right? And what Tariq Nasheed is doing is acting like some goofy Nigerian in their living room calling you an akata, or some goofball Jamaican saying, yo, them Yankee boy, they don't work, He's magnifying that shit to make it seem like it's the goddamn apocalypse. When in the bigger scheme, that shit don't move the needle. That's the point. That shit ain't about nothing. Let me share my screen right quick, bro, if I can. I want to show y'all something. I can share my screen, Unbiased? I guess you're not there.
You good.
All right. I wanted to this real quick. I'm not going to read this whole thing, right? This is from a European, a white boy. The title of it, as you can see, it says, Ugly American Sentiment Abroad. Many American trips suffer because they are treated like ugly Americans. Those who are treated like ugly Americans are treated that way because they are ugly Americans. They aren't bad people, just ethnocentric. Even if you believe American ways are better, your trip will go better if you don't compare. Enjoy doing things the European way during your trip, and you'll experience a more welcoming Europe. Europe sees two kinds of travelers: those who view Europe through their air-conditioned bus windows, socializing with their noisy American friends, and those who are taking a vacation from America, immersing themselves in different cultures, experiencing different people and lifestyles, and broadening their perspectives. Why am I reading this? Right? The reason why I'm reading this is this sentiment that currently Tariq Nasheed mostly is dredging up and magnifying and playing up. It's not unique to Black Americans and the Black diaspora and the Haitians and the Americans and all of that. Europeans, people from France, like Americans call French people soft, right? And like the guy said, Americans in general are ethnocentric people. We're number one. The way how we do shit is better than everybody else.
We're the greatest country in the world.
We're
We
the
are
greatest country in the
greatest country
world
in the
and all of
world.
that and all of that stuff, right? So listen, I know, because like Reggie said, I'm always looking at the bigger picture. I know who's pulling these strings, right? And I know the type of cultures that they come from, right? So a lot of times when the Americans, the Black Americans, take on that same ethnocentricity where they're bragging about their hairlines and their superior fashion sense and all that, I know where that shit's coming from. And I don't take offense to it because I see the bigger picture.
Yeah, divide and conquer. Divide
Ulti-
and conquer at a time. I'm going to add
ultimately,
this. I,
ultimately, Reggie,
yeah,
a Jamaican or a Haitian don't got no fucking power.
no power whatsoever,
A
right?
black American don't have no fucking power.
But Black Americans do have power in their cities and counties because they're the majority. So they're able to get elected officials. But the problem is what we are making missteps with the power because we can write the laws, but we're making missteps. My issue is when it comes to not moving the needle and moving the needle is okay, okay, if I could just bring back reparations, right? Because the conversation started with reparations, ADOS and FBA. Where are the reparations movements? They're not in, the only ones that are in federal court is very specific court cases. Tulsa, right? And Malcolm X. Those are the only two. Malcolm X is largely for Malcolm X's family, and Tulsa is for the residents and the descendants of the Tulsa massacre, which was lost when they did that state court that they did. Now they're trying to go into federal court, right? And they need our help, right, in constructing it, meaning they have lawyers, but the lawyers failed the first time, and because I mean they failed miserably the first time, so they need our help. They need our minds in constructing something that's beneficial to all so-called foundational Black Americans. So when in Tulsa, instead of researching case laws, understanding federal law, right? Understanding of the barriers in which they will throw at in federal court, we are arguing against people who do not move the needle. So those are the only two reparations case currently in Congress to be voted on is no reparations cases, none. And the reparations case that was there was HR 40, and it wasn't a case for reparations. It was a case to study reparations, and that didn't move the goddamn needle.
Hey, let me ask Unbiased a question. Unbiased, you there?
But before you do you understand? Do you before you do, because I know you have your own point. What I am saying is that what matters is if you are for reparations, there's two federal cases, Malcolm X case and the Tulsa case. They don't need, they do need our help if we write good blogs and we do some research on federal law.